Hello, hello, everyone. Look where we are. We are home. I'm trying to get the sun out of everybody's way, trying to get the angle proper. Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody see me okay? Is the sound okay? All right, so before we get started, the move went great. Thank you, everyone. Oh, I put a little lipstick on, a little bit of blush, trying to make myself look presentable. All right, so for those people who are just tuning in, we did the questions. We asked people if they wanted to participate. If you went to the community questions section, which is on my channel page, we collected a bunch of questions last night. So just to let people know how this is going to work, I'm not taking any more questions. So let everybody know, no questions, because people get frustrated by the lives, and so we have a time that we have to do it. Also, the live is going to end within 1 hour. People wanted me to make sure that it ends at a certain time, so we're doing 1 hour. No questions about additional remotes. But after I do a blitz, we can take a couple minutes to answer the questions of the blitz. Does that sound good? That way we can get to everybody's questions. And there were a lot of questions. So I'm happy to see everybody, and I'm thrilled that we're doing a blitz again. I have been doing a couple of remote views, so I want to just review them. The main concern I have as an empath, as somebody who's trying to put myself in the shoes of another person, I think it's really becoming apparent to people that Trump's mental health right now is very, very poor. I had said in previous remotes that I was concerned, not just about remotes, but just as a healthcare practitioner, about potential prescription drug abuse, which can happen with seniors. It's not like Donald Trump is the only senior that struggles with sleep problems. Sleep problems are actually become increasingly worse in some people as they get older. So nothing about what he's going through makes him unusual. What makes it unusual is that usually seniors have someone that can speak for them, advocate for them, and hopefully control for these kinds of, can cause slurring of the words. It's also used in Parkinson's. So those are kind of the medications we're concerned about in seniors. Also amphetamines, which can help with cognition and being alert, particularly if a person has a history of ADHD, ADD. So we've talked about that. So the main thing I get when I go into Trump's mental health is just that it seems to be getting worse. There's more slurring of the words, more cognition problems, more problems finding his words. And I think it's just very sad. People say, well, how do you have sympathy for Donald Trump? I have sympathy for Donald Trump because when I put myself in his shoes, I see somebody who suffers from severe mental illness. And it's not like somebody who's mentally ill is doing these things deliberately and consciously has a choice. The problem with the story of Donald Trump isn't that he has a choice. He's mentally ill. The problem with Donald Trump is that he's surrounded by enablers who know better and yet have used him and his skills at getting out the vote and creating a fan base, in order to push their own agenda. So that is what I think about the whole morals of this. But okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the weekly reading for the group. It applies to you as soon as you watch this video. And we're going to do a simple prayer. I don't think I'll be able to show people the card spread because of the angle of but we can try to show you the cards. Oh, that's good. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us, Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, for the planet, for the people we love, and even to help those that we may have strife with. And together we say, Amen. All right, let's go in. What advice do we give to the group? What is our collective reading for the week? 5-minute blitz. Where we are at right now, it's an interesting time in our history as a group, as a community. You can see the justice card moving in. So I think of justice as when there's an imbalance, we see balance return. So as out of balance as things have been in the last couple of years, we see a return to balance. We also see this interesting card about it, which is an inverted 4 of Cups, and that can be compromised. You can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. An inverted 4 of Cups is where everybody may be holding up in their own position. Well, this is how I think it is, and this is who should be the VP pick, and this is how life should be. With an inverted 4 of Cups, there's a willingness to move away from one's narrow refusal to cooperate or to compromise. 4 of Cups inverted and a justice coming in leads me to think that we're probably at a time where people are going to start working together a little bit more and accept the fact that we can't always get what we want. Hello, Mila. Mila has just assumed her position. As you can see, she is preparing herself for the work that needs to get done. Thank you, Michelle. Narcissism, the fear of the other. I think it's that people want to control their world, and when they are exposed to something that they don't have control over, they become frightened. I think that might be it, but good question. Where we're at right now, 5 of Wands. This is a time of learning for the group. Excuse me. Also, 5 of Wands, as I've said, is exchange of ideas. It's to construct something. I like the fact that the Emperor is moving in because that is a feeling that we are being more objective. These are great cards for us as a community and as a planet, in the sense that they speak about reason, logic, balance, what we sit in, a confusion, gaslighting, a feeling like we were taken off of our center. I had an interesting realization about the King of Cups recently, and that is that he sits on troubled waters. But look at how strong he is. When when the King of Cups is straight up, he really is the bridge over troubled water. This is like the counselor, the therapist who can take the emotionally unstable or charged situation and stabilize it. When it becomes inverted, this is where the rocky waters have taken control of the King of Cups, to the point where he may not be able to figure things out or ground himself. It's a feeling of being a little bit, particularly if you get this card with like a moon card, excuse me, which can be confusion, howling at the moon. So I think that as a whole, collectively, we're coming out of a lot of confusion because of so much that is going on in terms of bots, and people are fighting about this, that, and the other, and people don't know what the real news is versus the fake news. So there is an element of this still with us. In the near future, we're coming out of grief. So I feel like we're starting to turn the corner on what was potentially a difficult time in the nation. It's interesting to be back in Portland, Oregon. I grew up in Portland. People are like, why are you going to Portland? I grew up here. And I went to medical school here. So it's interesting to see Portland now versus when when I was here the last time, because you can feel the grief, the sadness, the protest. Also, the homeless situation is very bad. A lot of people are very hungry. And it has created this incredible sadness over the city that we just didn't have that kind of grief before. And so it doesn't surprise me that for the group, we're getting an inverted sun. A lot of people are going through a lot of difficult things right now. I really do think that people are letting the past go, and they're letting toxic relationships go a lot as well. Five of Pentacles is, as I've mentioned in the past, an exile card. It's to leave a situation that potentially pulls you into exile in an attempt to get back to redemption or the church. So there's also a breaking away we can see in the collective between the things that pull us away from our center, our light. You know, in the Sikh tradition, it's called Wahiguru. It's your inner guru. It's your inner compass. That's how I think of the Five of Pentacles. It's the person that's in a situation where they are lost or they can't connect with their own inner truth. The hope and fears, the collapse of the world, the fact that the world will not come together and cooperate. We're going to begin the load. We're going to begin the work. So it's a feeling not only that we are coming into a state of justice and balance, but also cooperation. It's a lot of work ahead of us. A lot of money is going to be spent and a lot of frugal years ahead. But also it's a time of prosperity in the sense that we're seeing a lot of new innovation. But unfortunately, juggling coins is going to be an issue going forward in the coming months, and also an Ace of Pentacles, probably because of the bailouts and taxation, etc. And the final outcome is the Nine of Wands, which again is just keep your house in order, also to pull back and to keep your resources at a minimum, not to overdo any expending at this time. Just really be very frugal. You know, if you haven't created a budget for yourself, now would be a good time to do budgeting. All right. Got a frog in my throat. I wolfed down my brunch before we got started. All right, so that is our group reading. Everybody just take care of ourselves. This too shall pass. And we're now starting to see the boat upriding. We're starting to see some nice balance coming in. Okay, the first question people wanted to know was the future of the Trump presidency. The list of questions I was given in the comments section of my page. All right, the future of the Trump presidency. Let's do the blitzes. Let's go. Future of Trump's presidency. Where he is at right now. See, I really think I'm concerned about unhealthy relationships, trapped in relationships he can't get out of, potential drug or alcohol abuse with the Devil card. This is a codependency. It's an addiction card. Also, look at that, a Page of Pentacles inverted. So loss of money. So two things potentially we could start seeing with Trump: more evidence of drug and alcohol abuse, and also more evidence of unhealthy dynamics or relationships chained to the devil. It could be people he owes money to. But the Devil card in relationship to a loss of money isn't good, because it's a situation where theoretically he can't get out of it. Constant bickering. It's interesting when you go into the remotes on Donald Trump, it's like I don't think the public realizes how erratic and how upset and easily thrown he is. And I'm concerned about what will come out in the future. It looks to be negative interactions with his own security. So fighting with security people, that sort of thing. There's something about the election here. You can see within 3 months, I read my Wands cards as months. He feels like this battle will be over in 3 months, maybe. So we're now in August, September, October, November. Yeah, November. Thank you, Jay. It's going very well. Thank you. Yeah, he still has research out. You know, he still has people helping him. But I think he thinks that the presidency is over. You can see his third house is the death card. He lost his constituents. You can see an inverted Five of Pentacles. I think people are not returning his phone calls. It feels to me that this energy is like somebody who everybody just disappears on him overnight. 1 minute they were there and now they're not. The presidency is not going anywhere. In fact, these cards are so bad. Look at that. Loss of money, death in his future, not going anywhere. This campaign could fall apart relatively quickly. He's very stubborn. He doesn't want to take advice from anybody. He doesn't. It's interesting. It's like Joe Biden is there. Joe Biden is talking with now one-on-one with old security people, etc. And a lot of information is getting transferred over to him. I see the King of Cups as Joe Biden's card. See, the outcome is the Lover's card. He's got to make a deal. He was given so many opportunities, particularly when he brought Giuliani in to negotiate an early exit, and he kept turning them down and turning them down. But the fact that the Lover's card is there and the fact that Joe Biden's in the 8th house, I think if this guy was, he should have left a long time ago, but I think he's going to have to, let's do a clarification. He's going to have to really, I think he's going to take a deal or get out of there. I still don't know if he's going to make it to November. See, 10 of Cups is over Biden's card. It's almost like when you go into this remote, Biden's in charge, everybody's in charge. You've got Susan Rice, everybody, the people that are in charge of justice, balance, etc. They're coming back, and Trump is like falling apart a little bit. I would not be surprised with those cards if he left early. How are we doing, everybody? Am I getting to everything as fast as I can? I'm sorry. So people want it like this. They want blitzes. All right. And a blitz is only 5 minutes, right? All right. So people want to know about the future of Mike Pompeo. You're like, yeah, Whimsy, that's what we just read the cards in remote. No chit-chatting. Little chit-chatting. All right, Mike Pompeo. Oh, thanks, Becky. What's going on with... I love blitzes, too. I am curious about the future of Mike Pompeo because what a wild ride he's been in. I have no idea what we're going to find, but I'm curious. Change to an unhealthy situation he can't get out of, bickering with others. This looks similar to Donald Trump in the sense that he's changed. He feels chained, like I can't get out of this. Ace of Cups inverted. I would not be surprised if this guy could. I don't see a future here. I see this guy gone. Look at this. Getting out of being bound. Ace of Cups inverted in the first house. Moving on. Moving on from Trump. There's Trump's card. I think he's going to try and get out of there, and I think that Nancy Pelosi is going to say not so fast. He can't just up and leave. You know, with these types of cards, with this my way or the highway, angry Aries female over him, and he's trying to get out of there. I would not be surprised if he got pulled back and had to attend some hearing or something as a result of his actions. It's like he abandoned the work. It's like he abandoned the work of the State Department. It's like we don't have a State Department. It's very strange. It's almost like passive infanticide in the sense that you forget to feed the State Department and then it can't sustain itself. It's that kind of an energy. I see him out of there, and I see him being subpoenaed and having to deliver dirt at some kind of a hearing or something. I think he's going to try and get out of there probably before the election, and I don't think he's going to be able to. He's still going to have to answer questions for what he did when he was at the State Department. All right, people had asked me about Susan Rice and how Susan Rice's cards are doing. So I think we will do that next. People think she would be a great VP. I agree. Let's take a look. What is the future of Susan Rice? Thanks, Jane. Susan Rice. What's the future of Susan Rice? Oh, she has karma. She has some karma. There's some loss of coin there. Strong hierophant there, so strong ethos. It's an inverted fool over hers. So somebody potentially trying to make problems. She's being crossed by a foolish person. Hanged man. I think she's going to be heavily attacked by the GOP. You can see a 7 of Wands as an outcome. It probably has to do with Benghazi, but for that reason, it could be difficult for her to be the VP pick. If she does become the VP pick, it's going to be a battle because of there's a lot of conflicts there. All right, I want to check the Postal Service. I think that was the next thing people wanted. Yeah, the future of the United States Postal Service. Okay, let's see how the Postal Service. Are we going to privatize it or not? Yeah, you're very welcome. Future of Postmaster General and the United States Postal Service. Money issues, no beginning. What it looks like when you go into this with an inverted page of wands is like they're suppressing information or they're making things not available, which is sabotaging the Postal Service. Things that are supposed to be done at a particular time are not getting done. Thank you, Renee. That's very sweet of you. You can see here the page of wands inverted. So projects are not getting done. If you know that certain things have to be up and ready by a particular time in order to get ready for the Christmas rush, etc., and you simply don't do it or you delay it, you've got a potential disaster on your hands. Also, 2 of Pentacles. So they're diverting things back and forth. Also, this is a trickery card. It's the sleight of hand, right? It's the con artist. It's the grifters card. So grifters or questionable behavior leading to sabotaging of projects. the money's gone too. There's like they're trying to pull money away from this department potentially in order to bankrupt it. Yeah, they want to end the post office. You can see the Knight of Pentacles, which is to go nowhere. It's a full stop, is crossing over a money card. He has no love for the post office. He thinks it's an overly expensive institution that is not efficient. It's a dinosaur, and he feels instead of putting it up to snuff and getting it ready for the 21st century, it should just be eliminated, and it would be far more effective. This is his opinion, not mine. It'd be more effective for us to just privatize everything, and then people would be competing, and so they would try to make it better and better and better and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And so in his mind, that's why the post office doesn't work. It's like a dinosaur as far as he's concerned. Yeah, not going anywhere. It's like letting it die. It's a natural death. He's going to get some opposition. You can see the 9 of Wands there. And he may eventually be fired, but not, he's probably going to eventually be kicked out of there. But he does make some important points about the fact that the entire post office has to be overhauled and modernized and become more. Let's see about the post office, Trump, and if there's going to be any problems with the November election. He's the dinosaur. Every time I tell people what the person I remote view thinks, people get mad at me. It's not my opinion. This is election interference. All right, are we going to have an election in November? Is it going to get delayed? What kind of problems do we see? We get our wish? No. Hopeless. Page of Pentacles coming. Financial. Oh, Trump is not happy. Inverted King of Swords. Trying to get away with something. The theft card. Mental confusion. He walks away. Look at that. Walking away with Trump's card. Angry, infuriated. Does he want to stay? It goes back to what Mary Trump had said, right? We went into remotes 2 years ago. We put ourselves in the shoes of Donald Trump. We loved him. We were present for him. Who did we make contact with? A 2.5-year-old child, right? If you go back to look at those remotes. So it's a personality disorder. It's like a frozen personality. But it's interesting when you look at Mary Trump's book, because she's a clinical psychologist. She says, well, yeah, his mother was in the hospital for a year. He was 2.5. So you can see the fear and the trauma. The other thing that came up when I did a remote on Donald Trump, or on his mother, Mary Trump, her name is also Mary Trump, was that she talked about how Fred Trump always liked to have the house quiet. It had to be quiet. He didn't like the noise, and how she was exhausted. She had her own health problems, and she had to deal with Donald Trump's emotional needs as a young kid while simultaneously dealing with Fred Trump and everything else. And so she was perceived of as not affectionate because she wasn't feeling well. Yeah, I think there's going to be some shenanigans. You can see here the Grifters card. But I think we're going to be okay because of the 9 of Cups. But yeah, there's going to unfortunately be some stuff going on. It still says the same thing. Trump walks away. Mary Trump had said the same thing. That's what I was going to say, is that she had said, because of the narcissistic wound, he may walk away rather than deal with public humiliation. The narcissistic wound is interesting, and I've written about the narcissistic wound, and I've talked about it on this channel, how the narcissistic wound can affect people's internal belief systems, their spiritual belief systems. If you look at the 1980s, 70s and 80s, when people were getting involved in cults, the New Age movement, it was very much about personality disorders, in the sense that it was the me movement. It was all about me, which as an Aries I can appreciate. But it was a very me-centered, it was very egocentric, and everything in the world that happened was caused by me, right? So the fact that people used to think like that tells us, doctors, therapists, etc., oh, so this person had a trauma probably before the age of 5, possibly before the age of 7, and they're frozen, because that's how young people feel. Unfortunately, people with these types of personality disorders who are frozen and traumatized grow up, and then it becomes part of their spiritual belief systems. And that can do a lot of damage, not just for them, but for the mental health of other people as well. So it's just interesting to see those things in the cards, and then to read Mary's book and see how it aligns really nicely with the remotes. All right. So the next thing people asked about was E.J. Carroll. She's the woman that is suing Donald Trump because she has his DNA. Thank you, Carol. Very nice of you. Is E.J. Carroll going to be able to sue Donald Trump and win? What's the future of E.J. Carroll? It's interesting when you heal your life and you heal the traumas of when you were 3 or 4 or 5 through deep, looking at your shadow. It's a painful process. But then when you're free, and then you realize, oh, I had nothing to do with my parents' divorce. Whatever the trauma was, oh, that's between you two people. That's got nothing to do with me. Like, oh, I can just go live my life. It actually can be very liberating when you start to realize that very little that happens in life has anything to do with you or me. It can actually be very liberating. All right. So E.J. Carroll, she's collecting, it looks like she's collecting information for the case. Thank you, John. Very nice of you. Very nice to contribute to the channel. You can see 10 of Wands moving in. So E.J. Carroll is getting no love lost here. Boy, I think she has a solid case because, I think that she's very determined. I think that she knows what happened. I think she's got evidence that will convict him. I think there could be delays in the legal system because of the crazy making with this president. He'll try and delay. Justice denied, right? It's going to be very, very difficult for her to, this could go on for years, I'm sorry to say, with E.J. Carroll. I don't see it resolving itself anytime soon. You can see 9 of Pentacles. He's going to try and exhaust her financially. The grief card is inverted. So it could go on for some time, I'm sorry to say. Okay. Somebody had asked about Kanye West. Let's do this. We're getting through a lot, aren't we? When we just do the blitzes the way you're supposed to. You go fast. All right, Kanye West. The future of Kanye West. Kanye West is an interesting person. He's actually supposed to be very smart. He's focusing on healing his life. You can see a nice Hermes, who's the messenger, the Greek messenger who brings messages of healing. That's the archetype I use for the Page of Cups. So we have a nice healing card here in Smoother Waters. I think that Kanye West is going to focus on his own emotional well-being and healing. Yeah, strength, his health, victory, health. He's actually saying things in this remote, which I agree with. That he's talking a lot about working with children and giving children creative space, and he really actually does want to advocate for children a lot in this reading. He will more than likely fund other people's campaigns rather than run one of his own. He feels betrayed by Donald Trump. He feels that Donald Trump took advantage of him and or played him a little bit. You can see his 9th house. This is Trump card, psychopath, and then inverted death card. So there's a falling out between him and Trump. They won't be working together. And a 6 of Cups, which is to return to childhood, and childhood also with the Page of Cups. I think that he has a beautiful side. When you go into Kanye West's energy, he's a beautiful, creative, loving person who has some health challenges, but he could really do some really great stuff in terms of helping support creative expression and development in children. So I think that he will probably go on to fund and support some creative education, etc. So that actually was pretty good. All right, so Trudeau, people. I'm sorry, Canada. The last time I looked at Canada, it was going conservative and everybody got mad at me. But, we're going to look at Justin Trudeau. He's going to get reelected. What's going to happen with the conservatives? We'll look at it from his perspective. It's interesting, actually, when I saw Kanye West's energy, I saw these amazing music camps and creative arts camps where poor, underprivileged, and traumatized kids could go and develop themselves and be given creative license, and through art and creativity, heal their lives. And he's going to actually be a big part of encouraging youth in that way and mentorship programs. So it actually was really a good thing. I don't know if this is public or when the election is, so I'm reading blind. I'm sorry, I'm a typical American. I don't keep up with Canadian politics as much as I should. Is there a possibility he could step down and let somebody else run for Labor? Is that possible? Thank you, Anna. It's sweet of you. The reason I say that is because he's in a 7 of Cups mode, which is confusion, and then there's a 9 of, or an 8 of Cups. So it could be a feeling that if the numbers are bad, he may want to give this to somebody else. Is there a female running as well? I'm seeing a woman, possibly a colleague of his, a woman. Working with a woman, helping advance the career of a woman, potentially high up in the labor. Does anybody know who she is? It's coming in the remote, and I don't know what I'm seeing. He feels that his relationship with the conservatives is so tarnished that they can't work on each other at all. Oh, a vote of no. I don't. Yeah. The deputy PM is a woman. Is she blonde? I'm seeing a blonde woman here. Do we know who this is? I don't know. Yeah. A woman's going to take over. Her name is Christine. Yes, thank you. Because I do the remotes and then I have to do the research afterwards. I went on vacation with my friend Ursula for a week. We drove around the country. We got to see the forest and the ocean. My cat went crazy because my cat wanted to see the ocean, nearly crashed the car. But anyway, so Ursula was taking my notes. I was doing the trancing, which was great. Oh my God, I've never had anybody be willing to just sit there like a therapist and take notes and ask questions. Wow, I would love to permanently be able to do that. But we did a lot of remotes over the vacation, and it really feels like this is the time of the women. Yes, she is blonde. Yes, that's the woman that's going to lead Canada. Nice, huh? Linda. All right, so he could step down. I see a woman taking charge, possibly blonde. I feel like Trudeau is telling us in this remote that too much damage, there's too much water on the bridge, and so now he can no longer be effective. And so maybe he needs to step down and give it to someone that doesn't have all of this baggage. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm seeing. All right, Boris Johnson and Dominic Cummings in Great Britain. What is their future? We did pretty good. We're getting through all the questions. I'm rather proud of myself. Great Britain. Isn't this fun? I can only stay an hour though because my home is still a nightmare. See, it looks good here, right? That's reality. But don't tell anybody. I just had to get enough stuff out in the kitchen to be able to make my breakfast this morning. You know, it's interesting when you go to Britain. If they start all over again, it's like they have to start all over again by themselves, with no relationship with the EU. In terms of the trade is the main thing I get. It's like nobody knows what's happening. Moon in the 11th house. Moon is the 11th house. If you take two bases on a Celtic cross, you're doing a 12 card spread, which I would strongly recommend people do that if you want more information. And you pull two. The 11th card is the one under the 12th, right? So the 11th is the karma of a situation. Karma isn't what you deserve. It's just the crap you have to go through. So the 11th house for Dominic Cummings and Boris Johnson is the moon. Complete confusion, complete chaos, howling at the moon, not knowing what's happening. But they're going to do it their way, right? I did it my way. That's like an Aries card, right? It's a wand, which is fired. It's one, right? Aries is it's the March, April baby, spring, aggressive kind of energy, entrepreneur's energy. So it feels like they're off doing their own thing, not necessarily communicating with others. Look at this. Chained to a situation they can't get out of, causing delays. Look at that. Four of Swords. They're talking about trying to get good deal, like they're renegotiating trade in the hopes that they'll get a better deal than the one they had before. You can see the businessman moving in. But as a result, trade isn't happening. This almost looks like things would be rotting at the dock, like things literally wind up stranded almost. It almost feels like the whole reason they did all this was to privatize so that a handful of companies would make more money than others. It's almost like a small group of businesses will be doing really well from this because the outcome is the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, it doesn't look like Five of Cups. I've never seen Brexit working. It's always been a problem. It's always been a hassle. More delays. That's what I see right now. More delays, I'm sorry to say. All right. So we've got a couple more. We've got about 10 minutes left. People wanted me to look at Jared, Ivanka, and Mitch McConnell and Kamala Harris. Think I can do those all? Who should I do first? Kamala Harris, Mitch McConnell, or Jared and Ivanka? Whoever says it first wins. Mitch. Okay, Mitch wins. The future of Mitch McConnell. Is he going to win? Or is he going to beat Amy McGrath? Everyone says Mitch. Thank you, Linda. Very kind of you. The future of Mitch McConnell. Where he's at right now, death and transformation and fleeing a situation. He's trying to get as far away from this president as possible, I think. End of strife. He's very worried about the world economy. See, there's an Ace of Cups there in the 4th house. Tower. There's some stuff coming out that's going to be problematic for him. Tower inverted in the 6th house with an Ace of Cups in the 4th. Inverted. Not good. The declining mental health of the president became the issue. Confusion, and then the person in a position of power being mentally unstable, abusive father figure. Thank you, Margie. Very sweet. And the final outcome is the King of Wands. It could be that he wins, but he loses his position in the Senate because he loses a lot of power going forward. It feels like this is someone that may squeak by, but then he goes back to being just another senator from a poor state. I'm sorry to say, but that's what it looks like. It's as if if we lose the Senate, and then he just goes, look, then he's representing Kentucky, which is one of the poorest states, and that kind of looks like what we're seeing here. Okay, Kamala Harris next. The future of Kamala Harris. Thank you, Ms. Sharon. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Kamala Harris. And then we'll do Ivanka and Jared. And then we'll be done. She has karma. has some karma. Ooh, they're looking at her situation very tightly. It looks like Joe Biden is calling people this weekend and letting them know who did not get the nomination. So if he's doing that over the next 2 to 3 days, he will know who his pick is by Tuesday. So we'll go ahead and say by Tuesday. In fact, Hanged Man. Her cards are actually not that good. Thief. Tower. Something's about to come out. This is something I was worried about, that something might come out about Kamala Harris that potentially could hurt her campaign. Yeah, and fighting. If she gets it, there could be some stuff coming out about her that could be problematic. Interesting. All right. Karen Bass. You guys want to do Karen Bass real fast? Yeah. Let's check Karen Bass. Yeah, see, if Michelle Obama comes out and says, surprise, I wouldn't be too upset. You know, if it's someone we don't expect and it's somebody we like, then yeah, I would be okay with Rice. Comfortable position, but confusion swirling around. Karen Bass. Health challenges right now. Temperamental, tired, overworked. An offer comes to her. Sun position. End of a partnership. Not going forward. But then there's a celebration. I don't think it's going to be Karen Bass. I don't think it's going to be Karen Bass. You know what? I'm going to do Elizabeth Warren before we close. I know it's probably not going to be her, but I just want to see the future of Elizabeth Warren. Thank you, Lynn. Okay, watch, it's going to be Karen Bass. Her cards weren't good, though. Elizabeth Warren, she's raising money. Look at that. Look at how much money she raised and not leaving. She's very important to this campaign. Turn down an offer. Open communication. Change to a situation in the third house. It's almost like they talked about it and then just they both mutually agreed not to do it or something, because look at her first house and look at what was in the past. So it was like they came very close to working on a deal, and then he may have seriously considered her because it would unify the base. It would unify progressives and established Democrats, because you can see here again, 10 of Cups moving in, smoother waters coming, 6 of Swords, the Star. Waiting for her ship to come in. If she's not the VP pick, then she will be very, very instrumental in helping this administration. Her final outcome is the King of Cups, which is the great mediator, right? And her seventh house is Hierophant with a star card, so her ethics are excellent. See, but she already had an offer of some type in the past. This is her past placement, fifth house. I think she's going to raise money. I think she's going to be an important part of this campaign. And I think that she's going to act in some type of mediation, possibly between the progressive wing and the conservative wing of the party. All right, the last throw before we close today is going to be Jared and Ivanka. Yes, they're having a hard time because if you recall, we did a remote on Ivanka. And that was accidental. I got asked to do a remote on Michael Cohen, on the raid on Michael Cohen's offices. So when I went in and did that, then I was asked if I could go over to see if I could get any information looking at any of the documents that he had overseen as the lawyer for anything that had gotten signed or whatever. And he appeared to have proof that Ivanka Trump had been, it was her signature and Don Jr.'s signature on questionable documents. So then we did a remote last week, 2 weeks ago, and it showed Ivanka Trump. The FBI was around her and Jared. Now we find out that the Trump organization is under criminal investigation for fraud, that Deutsche Bank subpoenaed documents, gave the subpoenaed documents, and that some of those loans went to Jared and Ivanka. So it's now looking like that may have been what the remotes were from 2 years ago. So let's go look. Let's go take a look. Jared and Ivanka, and then we'll close. Everybody have fun? See my new apartment? Again. I'm sorry, Tammy. Yeah, we did. Can you imagine your father doing that? Remember what Michael Cohen had said to her 2 years ago? He said, save yourself. Remember that? So this also helps us understand what Michael Cohen's been up to the last 2 years, right? He's been cooperating with an ongoing criminal investigation into the Trump administration and Trump organization and those signatures. So if you want to get the top person and you've got signatures from Ivanka and Jared and Don Jr., then the next step would be to get them to make some kind of a plea deal. You can see Ace of Pentacles, the money issue, and then the Great Negotiator, the King of Cups. I'm assuming that's Cohen's card. Has to do with world money. Yeah, they're under investigation for their world financial. Look at that. They were, it's like Mary Trump had said, it's never enough. It's like signing all these documents because it's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. I do see the FBI still investigating this. This almost looks like they were caught doing something. Yeah, it's over. Inverted Knight of Pentacles, it's over. They're going to have to, there's something going on with them where they're going to have to work out some kind of negotiation. They could be charged with actual crimes by the end of this. Look at this, having to assist. They're in trouble. Thank you, Melissa. Well, that was fun, everybody. Did you like seeing the new apartment? Doing a tarot card blitz in the new apartment? Wandering Eyes, thank you. All right, stay safe, everyone. Be well, everyone. If you're still trying to get in for a tarot card reading or a remote viewing, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com, and I do phone readings Monday through Saturday. All right, we'll see you next time, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Bye. Bye, everyone.